This video is going to be super short today, but I want to talk a little bit about something that a lot of people are talking about, which is there an AI bubble? Is everything going to collapse? And the answer is no. What's going on right now is not a bubble. That doesn't mean there aren't little sub bubbles, I guess. I mean, surely money is being invested into some companies that aren't going to work out since everybody and their fucking dog is attaching AI this and AI that to whatever their existing business model happened to be. So, sure, I mean, in that sense, I guess, but that's really a relatively small portion of the money being thrown around. The vast majority of the money that is sloshing about in the AI space is going to a handful of very large, very successful, and rapidly growing companies: OpenAI, Anthropic, Runway, uh, 11 Labs, and then all of the infrastructure stuff: Stargate, data centers, NVIDIA, etc. Now, why do I think it's not a bubble? I think the most important aspect of this is to understand that what we're seeing in the AI space is a genuine exponential curve. And to humans, like, we didn't evolve to see exponentials. There are things in nature that certainly follow an exponential curve, but most of those aren't easily visible to humans. We just didn't evolve for it. So we're very bad at spotting exponentials. And a couple of examples. So, one famous one is lily pads. So, lily pads will double and double and double in a pond. And at the early phase of an exponential curve, there's really not much. If you go from one lily pad to two, or two to four, or four to eight, like, it doesn't cover much of the pond. But once you get to about 5%, you go from 5% to 10 to 20 to 40 to 80, and then the whole pond is covered, and it's not that many steps. And it doesn't take very long to go from what seems like a small thing to an absolutely enormous thing. Another example, a famous example, is the chessboard rice or wheat story, depending on which version you've heard, which is that, like, the inventor of the chessboard is impressed a sultan or a ruler or whoever, and they offer them whatever they wanted as a reward. And they said, "Oh, well, very simple. I'd like 1 grain of rice or wheat to be placed on the first square of the chessboard, and then two on the next one, and then four on the next one, and I'll just double it for each square." And again, to a human who can't think in exponentials, that doesn't seem like all that much. And yet the end result is 18 quintillion plus grains of rice, which is impossible. So it's ridiculous. The this disconnect between the human brain and exponentials leads to a lot of amusing things. So, what looks like a bubble right now is, in fact, not a bubble, it is an exponential curve. And for the people who see that, they see where this particular curve leads. Artificial intelligence is literally the only technology in the entire history of humanity that has ever been invented that has the potential to be a general technology, a general intelligence. And if you really understand what that means, you understand that this is one of the final, most significant technological steps that we could potentially make. It's a big deal. And to the people who understand the exponential and understand where this technology is going, this is the last great gold rush. They recognize that this is probably the last chance to put money into something and get a really solid return. And so that's what's happening. But even more than that, they recognize, at least some do, that in order to do this, in order to accomplish the possibilities for this technology, it requires huge upgrades in infrastructure, which sadly we've neglected for a long time. China has quite an advantage on the US in terms of their ability to grow and improve their infrastructure. And they're doing a much better job building nuclear, solar, I mean, you name it. They're doing a better job of building energy and compute than we are. So I hope we catch up. And I think some of this money in the AI space is going to help us. Like, the Stargate project is definitely a portion of that. The things that are going on with NVIDIA, super important. In fact, I've made the argument multiple times over the last few years that this idea of GDP, while a semi interesting metric, is not actually a great one, and nor will it be the right metric going forward, or at least in the near future. I think the only two numbers that are really going to matter are going to be GDE, gross domestic energy production, and GDC, gross domestic compute. Energy and compute are going to be the two most important things in the coming few years, 5 years, 10 years. They're absolutely critical. And a lot of the money that's being invested in the AI space is going towards building out that infrastructure, energy, and compute. This makes perfect sense to me. So this is not a bubble. This is not somebody going out and buying billions of dollars worth of beanie babies or pet rocks. It's billions and billions of dollars being invested in hardware, in physical assets, real estate, energy production, chips. Like these are tangible things, secured assets. So, no, it's not a bubble. Technologically, artificial intelligence is following an exponential curve. It's going to continue to do so. As it does, it's going to simultaneously yank a whole bunch of other tech paths into exponential territory. And all of that is going to be combinatorial. We're going to see some really wild shit over the next handful of years, which I think most people just aren't prepared for. So if you don't really understand what's going on, yeah, sure, it looks kind of like a bubble. But I think when you're in the when you're at that sharp knee where the exponential really starts to look big, it looks the same as a bubble. You can't really tell. At least you can't really tell unless you understand the underlying technology well enough. So no, no AI bubble. We're just in possibly the last great gold rush, and a lot of money is being put into infrastructure because it's absolutely critical to what's coming next. So there you have it. Cheers.